Okay, hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to Cavern Kings. Wow, it's been a long time. Let's play as Yoji. It's been a while since I played Yoji. Let's play Drill Cannon, let's play Sword. Of course, we're gonna have the King, because always King Yoji, and let's be red, because we can. Perfect! Okay, God, it's been a while since I played Cavern Kings. Why has it been so long since I played Cavern Kings? I think I said Cavern Kings. I don't know. Okay, so the reason why it's been so long since I've played this game, they haven't updated the game. The last patch was 2 months ago. Oh, 2.5 months ago. Now, admittedly, I'm totally cool with, like, slow development and stuff. But at the same time, spend too much time in early access, you just lose everybody's interest. And I think this game is definitely going to be one of those where it's like, I'm not totally confident that it's not just going to stay in early access hell for quite a while. Sure, they're coming up with cool stuff and things like that, but it's also just like, you gotta have some amount of progress, or everybody's just gonna be like, so, how about that Cavern Kings game? And everybody's just gonna be like, buh? And that's the extent of it. Buh. It makes me sad, because I like early access. I think early access is wonderful. If done well, it can make games really fun. Take Dungeon Souls, for example. Arguably one of the shallowest roguelikes I've played in a while. But because it's constantly being updated, and like new stuff is getting added, and is being rebalanced, and stuff like that, it keeps the content flowing and interesting, and keeps my interest. Plus, there's always something new to unlock, because that game actually uses macro progression. Originally, I was not a very big fan of like macro progression perks and stuff like that in a roguelike, but I guess if you keep increasing difficulty levels, it doesn't really matter. As long as something eventually caps out, or doesn't. Actually, that would be kind of interesting, to the point where you could just keep increasing the difficulty, and you can also keep increasing your power. So after a certain point, it's just this crazy, like, super sudden death game. I don't know. That would actually be kind of fun. I would play it. Those things suck. But no, I don't know. I like this game. I like a lot of games. Let's see. Chat is asking, why don't I play the Swindle? Because I'm really freaking bad at it. I'm really, really, really bad at the Swindle. Like, I'm so bad it hurts. And I do not enjoy the experience of just getting my shit kicked in by, like, crazy Robocops left and right. It gets boring fast, and, like, I can't even make it out of the first area. I think I'd, like, complete 1 in 3 heists. If even. I want to go back to it at some point, maybe when I'm patient, but I'm not. The game is kind of awkward to begin with anyway, so it's not the tightest thing ever. It just makes me want to go play Mark of the Ninja, which is I am far more liable to play Mark of the Ninja than Swindle, I think. Because honestly, Mark of the Ninja is everything that Swindle doesn't, and Swindle has nothing that Mark of the Ninja doesn't have. Like, I really wanted Swindle to be really good. I would love to play effectively a platformer heist game. Kind of like, I mean, I really like Invisible Incorporated, but the gameplay ends up feeling kind of stale, just because it's like, alright, it's the next office, there's a couple of, like, unique challenges and stuff like that. And that is kind of the problem with random generation and stuff like that. I think randomly generated stealth games are not great. Like, you need intention to have a stealth game be good. Otherwise, you would run into, like, weird shit that just ruins the gameplay, that makes it boring and stuff like that. And so, like, as much as I like the idea of the Swindle, as much as I love the developer, he does some really cool stuff. There's not a whole lot of, like, compunction in me to play that game, because it's just, like, there's not... It doesn't have content that appeals. I would rather play stuff like, I'd rather play stuff like Vagante or whatever, and if it just had a more robust stealth system. I guess that's it. If you're gonna have like a stealth system in a game, don't have it be the primary point if it's randomly generated, because there's no way you're going to be able to. Please give me another book. Nope, that's just about as good though. So it's kind of like if you were playing Metal Gear Solid 5 and the entire game was randomly generated. It wouldn't be as good, because Metal Gear Solid 5 is a perfectly crafted, stealth simulator, military something or other. I don't even know. Effectively, the Metal Gear Solid games are a crazy train simulator, and it's beautiful the entire way through, and that's because there's so much design and intention and like quality packed into it that like you can't help but appreciate what's been put into it. Whereas I mean, Swindle, there are whole levels that like you have to blow up to even get into, to even get like money from, and that to me feels kind of criminal. Which is, I mean, I realize the wording, but it just ends up making the game feel stale from the get-go, because it's just like these were just slapped together in generally unappealing ways, and that's a shame. Because I wanted to like that game. I thought it was going to be cool. And it was cool. It just wasn't cool enough. Wasn't cool enough. There's a lot of games like that, honestly. I guess that's actually kind of goes to, like, when I'm reviewing a game, I often ask myself, does this game achieve what it set out to do? And if the answer is yes, I'll actually be really appreciative of it, even if what it set out to do was boring and simple. Because, I mean, that's what it does. That's what it planned to do. And, I mean, I'll call it out for being, you know, limited in vision. But, like, if a game sets out to do, like, really big things, or, like, compete with a whole genre, or, like, try and enter itself into a genre and fail, it's just going to be an inferior product, unfortunately. Like, what's a good example of something that I really want to... Oh yeah, Oblitus. Oblitus was an awful game. I mean, I don't know what it was trying to be, but it definitely wasn't it. A lot of people were talking about it being like this Dark Soulsian platformer type game, because there's never really been a good Dark Soulsian platformer. There are a couple of, like, quite good comparative things, but, I mean, Ghost Song, for example, is pretty goddamn solid. Okay, this is gonna suck a bit. I think we'll be able to survive, but I want to get out of here before that worm shows up again. There we go. But, so Ghost Song, which isn't even out yet, by the way. I just did, like, a preview of it a while ago, and then I've meant to come back to it and, like, do a proper stream. Let's wait for those plants to come back. Might as well get my health. Okay, speaking of health, screw that guy. I'd like to get the sword, but I think it's meaningless. But, like, Ghost Song was awesome. And it had some Dark Soulsian elements, but mostly it was just a really freaking creepy Metroidvania, which was beautiful. And, like, the art style was great, the gameplay was tight. The boss was frustrating as hell, but, I mean, whatever. You can't have everything. But it was a much tighter experience than, say, Oblitus, which, I mean, arguably set out to do exactly what it wanted it to do. It just did it so poorly and stuff like that. It wasn't fun. Okay, we'll get 2 of these. I have the cash. I didn't want to get more, because chances are we're not going to be using them that much. We don't have a whole lot of healing here. That said, if I can get the healing, we're going to be pretty set. I'm just really worried about our damage, because it's really freaking low. Ah, well, there goes that health. I'm just going to be over here, trying to get down. We might get killed by the ceiling. Nope. Okay, survived. And can get the platform. The chest. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay. Trying to think of other games other than Oblitus that, like, set out to do something and failed. I mean, there's a lot. There really are quite a lot of those games. There's a game that was like a parkour game I did a while ago. Lemma, I think? I don't know. Lemma was bad. That was real bad. And I felt really bad for the dev. I feel really bad for, like, every developer I ever give a bad review to, because it's just like, this is just a hot load of garbage. And I can't, in good conscience, say anybody would like this. And it always makes me feel so sad, because it's just like, this is somebody's blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. We are going to die here. Jesus Christ, were there always this many little enemies shooting at me? I don't think there were. Wow. That was rough. Let's retry. Let's switch the drill cannon with the kick beam cannon. Might as well. Go with something a little bit more about as comparable. I don't even know. I think that is the one shitty thing I don't like about this game. You can play as hard as you want to and still get your ass kicked. I think it's just because kind of awkward balancing in the beginning. The loot drops in the beginning of this game are uncomfortably bad. Like half the time you're just like, I've got extra money and equipment that currently didn't show up. Oh, I've got this sword thing that only works when I'm full health. Oh. I mean, admittedly, that the hero sword is probably one of the best items in the game, but it's only one of the best items in the game if you're actually past a certain point in the game. I don't know. I'm in a complainy, critiquey mood right now, but everything is going to be my victim in this case. The wrath of a person that wants to give game reviews out to things. But I mean, it's true. I tried reviewing Valhalla. That shouldn't happen. I don't know why that happened, but that shouldn't happen. The explosion from this thing knocks you up, even if you're below the origin of the explosion, because each instance of the explosion there spawns in and then explodes. So there's no directionality to the force from the box. The only directionality is from the individual explosion sprites that get thrown into the game, which is fascinating, but also very, very frustrating. That should not happen. That is bad. Admittedly, not really that big of a deal, and very, very few situations where like that's actually going to be a problem, but bad nonetheless. I don't even know. Let's talk about positive stuff. Shit's going well on my end. I don't know, going on vacation this weekend. Kind of stoked for that. Gonna miss Catterday. But everything else is going to go smoothly. I'm gonna be here for Not Catterday, which is always fun. Honestly, I feel like Not Catterday has worked out better than Catterday has in a lot of cases. Okay, let's just scoot and run because we're going to die otherwise. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Admittedly, it's like a hiking vacation to Vermont, and I'll be honest here, I'm not that much of a hiker. I don't mind it, but I also just don't like being sweaty, and midsummer hiking just sucks. I'm kind of a fall, spring guy. Otherwise, I'd rather go to a gym. But then again, I guess I've just never had that, like, natural connection that, like, say my brother has. Why am I already almost dead? This is absurd. My brother is always kind of the like, outdoorsy kind of dude. And it never really appealed to me in the same way that it did to him. I think it's kind of one of those where it's like, Boy Scouts for me was always kind of a boring experience because none of my peers did it. And a lot of his friends were, like, in the Scouts. So we both did Scouts together, but it was just like, meh. Actually, no, in retrospect, none of his friends were in the Scouts either. Or at least they were, and then they all quit out or stopped being his friends. That is a surprisingly prevalent problem. People, like, just quitting stuff. Quitting, like, an activity. Quitting... Oh, hello. Hey, look! More of those swords that we don't need. I love it. But it's just a hot load of garbage right now. It does not do me any good. I might want to just save my cash. I'll buy one. Just in case I don't get another one. But at the same time, it's no good for anybody. At least the kick beam cannon does... Oh, interesting. The kick beam cannon does not do damage for every point on a worm. There's a bit of an iframe. A delay before it actually hits the next segment. That's interesting. Didn't know that. Yeah, mountain hiking ain't bad. Like, honestly, most things ain't bad. It's just one of those where it's like, I prefer, you know, leisurely hikes on, you know, smooth slope trails, you know, nothing that's going to, say, cause you to, like, pull a muscle because, you know, these are angles that the human body really isn't used to climbing. I hate hiking in like, the rain. I hate hiking in, like, 90-degree weather. Give me a nice, like, cool mountain trail, great view, stuff like that. I will be perfectly happy. But if it's just like a slog up a mountain, God no, fuck that. I'd rather slog through a gym and then stumble down to the showers, and you know, just be done with it, not come back. Because otherwise, like Otherwise, you're just miserable for the rest of the day. Like, I hate the like multi-hour car ride back from hiking trips sometimes, because it's just like, I am disgusting, I am uncomfortable, I hurt, I'm tired, and we're like 4 hours from home, so I can't take a shower for a while. And by the way, the only food I've eaten gives me like really bad acid reflux, because that's what like Gorp and granola does to me. You know, yeah. I also don't like backtracking on trails. I prefer like loop trails and stuff like that, if I can. Though I guess backtracking can be good too. It really depends on like how backtracking is handled. Hey, we've actually got the sword. God damn it. I was gonna say we actually got the sword working, which will be useful for all of a very, very short period of time, but whatever. But I was gonna say there's, oh, well, that's TNT. Oh, there goes the sword again. I was gonna say backtracking can be really fun if you've like hiked up a mountain and like it's a really nice view one way, because that almost invariably will translate into a very nice view on the way back too. Like I really liked living in California, because some of the trails along like in Northern California especially, where some of the like prettiest trails still like go up and down. I'm not really a big fan of trails around here. Too many trees, not enough like open space. Boston is a nice place, don't get me wrong, but the views and the sights are limited at best. I prefer like rail trails and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I live in Montana. Well, go figure, Montana has like really nice mountains and stuff like that. There's a lot of like really good hiking areas kind of out in the west. I mean, there's an amount of like really good ones in the east, but as much as I like trees and stuff like that, you can only stand to stare at trees for so many hours in a day before you're just like, do I get to look at anything else? It depends. There have been some really pretty forest hikes I've been down. I really don't like pine trees that much, actually, which does kind of pose some interesting problems. I was on a hike in Zagreb, Croatia, years ago. Totally unprepared. You know, no proper hiking equipment, nothing of the sort. I really need to stop dropping those things on my face. But, you know, barely any supplies. I had, like, 2.5 liters of juice in my cargo pants pockets. Or my cargo shorts pockets, which was ridiculous and stupid. I'd make a terrible park ranger. Probably. But I also wouldn't want to be one. So that kind of balances it out. But so, interesting thing about Zagreb. Very few pine trees in the area. That box is currently floating in the sky. I really wanted that HP up, and we ended up just shooting it out. Ah, god damn it. Alright, there is nothing here for me. Really hoping for an HP up from something. Well, doesn't matter. Oh well. Just came back from Zagreb. Oh. It's a nice place, actually. I kind of wish we had more time to spend there. It was a pretty city. More metropolitan than I thought it was going to be, surprisingly enough. I thought it was going to be much more, I don't know. It was weird. It was much larger than I thought it was at first. We wandered around. We thought we saw all of it, because like the city center specifically isn't really the business district, like where the effectively like Central Park wasn't at all where like the rest of the city was. So we just end up spending a lot of our time. We're going to die very soon. We're probably going to fight a boss after this. Yep, pretty damn close. Could really use some health here. We're not going to get any. At the very least, we can get a black hole box. Several. This is a comical problem. Look at how much health I have. Look at how many items I have. I really don't like the drop rates in this game. Dungeons, I feel like Dungeon Souls and Risk of Rain do loot that much better. Because currently, I have 1 item that could potentially help me if I was full health. And 3 of another item that won't help me in the slightest. It might not be a problem. I might be able to power through it, but if we're fighting the eyeball thing again, we're pretty much dunked. Which is always a bit of a problem. At least we've got the magnetism, so we can pull in the health if and when it drops. You don't have to worry about losing health or money, which is kind of useful. But so with with Zagreb, it was like nothing but just like green and leafy trees and stuff like that. HP seems to be regenerating. Just wait a bit. That's a long wait. It really is. Unfortunately, I don't really have the luxury. I'm kind of hoping I can ricochet a shot off. That actually worked pretty damn well. Well, that was kind of worthless. I really wish it wouldn't hide in the goddamn level architecture. Ah, got him. Okay. That was close. Have I played Tyrion? Nope. Don't even know what Tyrion is. Okay. Let's see if we've got any HP in here. We do. Just hard to get to. Whew, that was close. Hey, BDI. How's it going? What's this game called? This game is called Cavern Kings. Ow. Okay, we just lost every little HP thing we possibly had collected there. Okay, it's fine. There's nothing left. I guess I could have just waited in that level for everything. But where's the fun in that? I hate waiting. I really do. I'm quite the impatient person when Let's Playing. Because any time I'm just sitting around doing nothing, I consider to be pretty much lost and useless footage. Okay, do not get hit by the face. The rest of him doesn't do nearly as much damage. Some of you give me HP. Correct? Yes. Okay. We might actually have a run on our hands here. Still dubious, as always. This game is notoriously finicky. Very, very, very finicky. Oh well, not the end of the world. How am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm complaining about things. I'm being a grumplepuss for like no good reason. And it is like sort of grumpy bot for no reason apart from like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm still waiting for like some game to fall in my lap to like be my next Holy Potatoes weapon shop, but that's a terrible plan. If you're ever doing YouTube and you're trying to do YouTube, you will get big breaks from time to time. Like there will be something that takes off. Learn from it, because it doesn't happen often. It really doesn't. I'm trying to think of like games that specifically did like fabulously on my channel. Dungeon the Endless. I covered that when it was like in early alpha, and I got like good 5,000 views within the first like month or so. Should have kept going with that, because that could have potentially been a very good breakout series. I didn't. I was like, nah, no, it's not complete enough, and it doesn't seem like it interests me. That was a dumb thing to do. They came out with co-op. I could have covered it. I could have done well. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. But so like Holy Potatoes weapon shop, I tried definitely to like grab that one by the horns. It mostly worked. Did not work as well as I wanted it to. I know like Dragast, for example, got Holy Potatoes weapon shop and turned that not Holy Potato. He got Stranded Deep and he turned that into like some kind of crazy, just massive growth thing. But then again, Stranded Deep was a hell of a lot more popular than one game that Markiplier played once, and then turned out to be kind of a fun, popular game anyway. I like ricocheting shots with this thing. It's satisfying. Or like me with Vagante and Catacomb Kids, as like Bisnap was starting to cover those. I mean, that one's a little bit more obvious. Just play it. Actually, Runers was the same way. Runers and McDroid. I forget about those two games too, because they didn't feel like a big break, but that's just because they came at a really awkward time in my life. AKA right before going to California to visit Keith and waste my time on a job interview and stuff like that. Not the end of the world. But, try and grab a hold of things when you get them, because they don't come nearly as often. Damn it, that's a useless shop. Let's avoid hitting... Damn it. I was gonna say, let's avoid hitting that, that explosive for the time being. Then I immediately just blew it up. Honestly, this whole stage is a bit of a wash. Not like I really have much of a choice on it, though, unfortunately. Oh, we're gonna fall down. I'm out of jumps. Damn. Oh, well, not the end of the world. I prefer these leafy block levels anyway, because I can do as much damage to these as I want to, and just make it away. But so, I've been waiting for, like, kind of mainliner series to fall into my lap lately. You know, something that I can really sink my teeth into. And I've got one. I got Rogue Train, which, what time is it? 4:42? Yeah, once I die on this one, we'll go play some Rogue Train. And it'll probably be pretty close to it for the night. Or not Rogue Train, Bounty Train. Bounty Train was awesome. Megasphere. I thought Megasphere was going to be great. Turns out, unfortunately, Megasphere is so early access. There's not much of a game behind it. Like the first boss isn't even like beatable as far as I can tell. It was just like I would love this to become a series, but it's probably just going to become a like oddity on the channel until everybody's bored of it, which is pretty much immediately, which is a shame. And I don't know. There will be things. Maybe I should consider going back into playing occasional AAA games, but I don't have the funds for it because all of the Holy Potatoes Weapon Shop money doesn't come until my birthday, actually. Oh wow, I'm gonna get paid on my birthday. That feels good. But at the same time, everything's kind of shaping up. I guess I haven't really talked about it in this series that much, but Diablo Season 4 is starting tomorrow. I could. I don't know how I would, but I could. I just don't have anybody to do it with immediately, which is kind of the problem. Or I do, but they're all substantially more Diablo players than I am. I don't know. I'll figure that out. Whatever happened to Traverser? On the YouTube side of things, it wasn't super exciting for people, and it also came at like a really bad time. I can go back to it at some point based on request, but that might be a little bit later when I have more free time. I talk about like mainline series, but the problem is like it's still one of those where I have to appease the monsters that is YouTube views more than Twitch. As much as I enjoy Twitch streaming, people are fickle. I mean, we've got what, 35 people right now, and unfortunately, all of my income comes from YouTube. So YouTube is king as far as determining what I stream and what I do. Because honestly, if I wanted to grow on Twitch, I'd probably just do like a lot of Binding of Isaac. And again, I'd probably get sick of Binding of Isaac. I don't know, I'd switch it around. We'd figure it out. I've got something in my eye and it's getting really uncomfortable. Oh well. I'm glad I've got magnetism here. Stuff like that. But, yeah, no. At some point, probably when I have free time, and I always promise these things, but it's one of those where I have that, like, internal promise to myself that I will someday just sit down and finish every single series that ever went unfinished on my channel. And that is ridiculous, and, like, as much as I want to promise that to myself, the chances of that happening feel very slim. But there's a lot of games that, like, will probably eventually get completed as a result of that. Hey, I think I'm sorting fast enough that I can actually have, like, I can fly. Sword flight is now achieved. Beautiful. Oh, come to me, money, before you get dumped off into the void. Well, I really wanted to buy from that shop, but I think we're out of luck. Yep, out of luck. Let's just leave. That's scary. Mostly a YouTuber. Must be backwards. Yep. Yeah, Killer Q. Moobot just keeps dumping links every once in a while. But now I've got almost 10,000. Almost 10,000. It's 8,600, I think, at this point. Subscribers and stuff like that. So, actually, I mean, Twitch is growing well, but donations are not high on Twitch for whatever reason. I guess it's because I don't really ask for them that much. Yeah, wow, we actually can sword fly. Yes! Upon these sword-like wings, apparently. But, so, pretty much... Okay, here's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. I wanna move out. I wanna be a self-sufficient YouTuber, streamer, whatever. Unfortunately, you need an income to do that. And unfortunately, Twitch has locked down being a Twitch partner to pretty much anybody that has 500, concurrent viewers at once and stuff like that. Does the sword auto attack, or do my fingers really hurt? I'm actually just holding it down. However, my fingers do hurt. I will admit that about this game. This game is kind of hard on the fingers, especially after playing Dungeon Souls earlier today. But so it's not even a pipe dream at this point. It's just a slow eventuality that I'm going to move out and be a professional YouTuber, or gain professional entertainment gamer. I don't know what you want to call people that do both Twitch and YouTube. I guess let's player, professional let's player. Like that's an eventuality that's actually coming fairly soon. Limited by a very small subset of things that really aren't actually that out of my control. It's just kind of a matter of like, I would really like to not be on my own in this, so obviously bring Shell with, and ideally bring Keith with, because Keith would be a great partner in crime. I think this might actually be the first time this boss ever kills me. We don't do enough damage to him. We don't have enough healing to avoid him. At least we've got neutral buoyancy, so it's not terrible. But so, as a result... prefer the term gaming whore and stuff like that. Share an apartment with Keith or Bird. I mean, that's pretty much it, yeah. Oh, thanks, Eric. But yeah, so, effectively, sharing an apartment with Keith or Bird. Ideally, unfortunately, Bird has, like, two years. I'm just gonna talk... Actually, let's go to the arena. I think I can do that. We'll do Android. We'll give her the jackhammer. Okay, this probably won't work. We're probably gonna get her ass kicked. But, so, ideally, I like to do it with live with the two of them, because I know Bird expressed interest, and Keith, of course, expressed interest. Unfortunately, the problem is, like, you know, Keith makes half as much money as I do from YouTube. He makes more from Patreon. But that's because I don't think I pushed the Patreon thing particularly well. Either. I'm really bad at, like, asking for money. I should be more proactive, but it just feels skeezy to me. So Keith needs to make about rent, food money. And he kind of is getting there, but it's still a couple of months away before he'd be comfortable with that. And Bird has at least a year of school left, I think. So he's kind of right out for a little while longer. Unless I can convince Bird to let me live with him in DC, but that would be ridiculous. Probably wouldn't happen, and that would also be unfair to Shell. That would probably be unfair to everybody involved, myself included. I can't open that up. But so the ideal is, you know, in a couple of months in the spring, I move out with Shell, with potentially Keith, might be by ourselves, really depends. Because there's a teaching program down in Texas that doesn't require a teaching master's. It just requires, you know, hard work and some certification tests, which he's more than qualified for. But ideally, you know, we move out, stuff like that. But, you know, the harsh reality is, I can only do this on YouTube money, because I barely make anything from Twitch. It's kind of sad, actually, because, like, I feel like they could do better monetizing small channels easily. Like, ad revenue is totally a thing, but they don't do it. And so it's harder on, you know, people like me to focus specifically on the Twitch side of things. Honestly, like, it's hard to do so too, just because YouTube is so cut and dry and easy to work with. Twitch is finicky. Like, 2 weeks ago we were sitting between 60 and 80 people. This week we're sitting in the 30s, which is what I was before. Like, which is, I mean, was where I was at back when I was, like, doing nothing but Vagante and Darkest Dungeon and stuff. So it's kind of one of those sorts, like, it's a lot easier to track, you know, why people aren't watching me anymore on YouTube than it is on, like, Twitch. So it's also a lot riskier being a Twitch streamer as well, which is kind of rough. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I like both equally for different reasons. I like Twitch a little bit better because I like Twitch better for the community, but I like YouTube better because it actually, like, makes sense. As weird as that probably is to say, Twitch is kind of this, like, just, it's a mystery how any of it works. And it's also kind of one of those where Twitch kind of rewards people that play one thing for hours and hours on end, you know, not switching, and generally being very themed along the way, and I don't do well with themes roguelikes work, but unfortunately I get really bored of certain roguelikes after a while. So I feel like I've lost a fair amount of people because I just don't play the things they're interested in anymore. Or I play too much of a thing that they've lost interest in. And on YouTube, it's a lot easier for people to pick and choose and stuff like that. Hey, Hectic Man, how's it going? But so, it's kind of one of those where it's like, I wouldn't mind being like a fully professional Twitch streamer. Definitely be kind of a different beast entirely. But at the same time, like currently, it's just not feasible. So I have to put most of my efforts keying my Twitch streams to YouTube. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff I've been filming outside of Twitch recently, mainly because I have a lot of free time. Are you kidding me? I don't need paralyzing curses. I need like everything else. Oh well, not the end of the world. But so I've been avoiding putting, say, or recording Nova 111 on Twitch just because I can't imagine a lot of people are particularly interested in watching it, comparatively so. And so it's easier for me to just record that off YouTube in like 20 minutes. Or not off YouTube, off Twitch in like 20 minutes on my free time and focus Twitch on the things that people actually want to see, or at least, you know, have a passing interest in. But at the same time, the other thing with Twitch is like people have lives. YouTube, it's easy for people to like watch my stuff, you know, regardless of like what's going on in their general day-to-day. Very hard to do that with Twitch. So for example, I feel like I'm losing a lot of people because of school and stuff like that. Well, I do Fallout. Already did a Hectic Man. I actually started with it tonight, unfortunately. Have I played Trove before? No, unfortunately the game looks like it would have a fair amount of grinding. I don't know, I might get into it, I might not. A lot of people have asked for it, but it's just not my style of game, honestly. That's the other thing. This is why we play Android. Because normally we'd be in trouble. But now, it's Android Town. A lot of health pickups here too, which is good. Ow. I really need extra jumps. Actually, C4 would be beautiful right now. A little bit dangerous. Mostly effective at destroying the world. Okay. That worked fabulously. Jesus Christ, the entire level just blew up. That was ridiculous. Oh, right, because C4. I was wondering why everything blew up, including the enemies, because I just picked up C4, and we had effectively a crazy chain reaction. I love that. I love arena mode in this game, honestly. I want to say I like arena mode better than standard adventure mode. The problem is the frame rate is just so garbage, it's not even fun. But yeah, unfortunately, in life, I don't have time for grinding things. Like, right now, I have a background Destiny addiction that I can't manage because I just can't play Destiny. So it's just like, well, I really, really want to play more of this game, but I can't play it. A, because my collaborators aren't there, and B, because I don't have enough time for it. So stuff like Trove would be a nightmare just because I don't think I'd be able to stream it well, especially without, you know, a consistent group of people to play with. And we're dead. And stuff like that. But have I ever played WoW before? Yeah. Actually, we might be bringing that one back. Speaking of grinding, but that one's more of a YouTube series than anything else. But no, I've played WoW. I have a 50-part series on my YouTube channel. So check that out. I think we stopped in the in the Outlands. There we go. We were like halfway through it. And then chances are I'm actually going to be going back to it sometime soon. Kind of when Keith is interested, which is probably going to be in about a week when I'm back from vacation. And we've gotten sick of Rockwar not being around, because he's probably going to cancel on Wednesday, and then we'll both, in a fit of rage, just resubscribe and continue that series. Because it was actually some of the most fun, one of the most relaxing series I've ever done. It was fun. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next episode of Ranting Kings, or Rambling Kings? Ramblebot. And as always, thanks for watching.